What if the reason you are not wealthy yet has nothing to do with how much you earn and everything to do with what you spend it on? Most financial advice focuses on what you should buy. Which stocks, which property, which mutual fund. But Warren Buffett, the man who has spent 8 decades studying wealth and human behavior, believes that what you do not buy is equally, if not more important. The purchases that feel good in the moment, the ones that look like rewards for your hard work, the ones that society tells you are signs of success. These are often the exact purchases that silently prevent real wealth from being built. Today, we are going through 6 specific categories of spending that Buffett has warned about throughout his career. Not as a lecture on living a miserable, cheap life, but as a genuine map of where money goes to die, so you can make intentional choices rather than habitual ones. Let us get into it. Thing 1, new cars and status vehicles. Let us start with the one that will generate the most debate in the comments: cars. Specifically, new cars bought for the purpose of impressing others or expressing status. First, the financial reality. A brand new car loses between 15% and 25% of its value the moment you drive it off the showroom floor. By the end of the first year, it has lost approximately 30%. By the end of 5 years, most new cars have lost 50 to 60% of their original value. In simple terms, if you buy a car for 30 lakh, in 5 years it may be worth Rs 12 to 15 lakh. You have lost Rs 15 to 18 lakh. And that is before you account for insurance, maintenance, fuel, and the interest on any car loan you took out to buy it. Warren Buffett drove a 2006 Cadillac DTS for years. He only changed it because his daughter told him it was embarrassing. His previous car before that he had driven for a decade. And here is what he says about it. A car's purpose is to get you from point A to point B. Anything beyond that is ego. Now, Buffett is not saying you should not own a car. He is not saying you should drive a broken-down vehicle. He is saying be honest about why you are buying what you are buying. Is it for function or for the approval of people whose respect you do not even need? Consider this alternative. Buy a reliable used car that is 3 to 5 years old. It is mechanically sound. It gets you everywhere you need to go, and you might pay half the price of a new equivalent. The Rs 10 to 15 lakh you save, invested in an index fund at 12% returns, becomes Rs 55 to 80 lakh over 20 years. That is not a car purchase. That is a retirement fund choice disguised as a car purchase. The same logic applies to motorcycles, luxury SUVs, and any vehicle whose primary purpose is to signal your success to others. The people you are trying to impress either do not notice or do not care. And the cost of that impression is your financial future. Well, Buffett's rule: drive what works, invest the difference. Never buy a vehicle primarily to impress people. Beating to a home that is bigger than you need real estate is consistently called one of the best investments. And for rental properties and commercial real estate, that can absolutely be true. But your primary residence, the home you live in, is not an investment in the traditional sense. It is a place to live, and there is a significant financial difference. When you own a home, money flows out: mortgage or rent, property taxes, maintenance and repairs, utilities that scale with size, furniture to fill the space, security, renovation. These costs are ongoing, and they grow with the size of the home. Buying the largest house you can possibly afford, or even the largest house the bank will approve you for, means maximizing your outflows. Every rupee that goes toward a larger mortgage is a rupee that could have been invested in compounding. Buffett's perspective on this is practical and unsentimental. He has said that the house he bought in 1958 for $31,500 has been a perfectly good home for his family for his entire adult life. He has never needed more. He has never felt deprived. The money he did not spend on upgrading his home, that went into Berkshire Hathaway. Now, the question is not whether you should own a home. Homeownership can make sense for many reasons, including stability and eventually being mortgage-free. The question is, are you buying the right size home? Are you buying a home because it fits your life or because it is the maximum you think you can technically afford? Banks approve you for the maximum you can handle in the best possible scenario: high income, no unexpected expenses, perfect market conditions. The smart approach is to buy for the realistic scenario, which always includes setbacks, emergencies, and income fluctuations. One additional point Buffett has made: be very careful about locking up too much of your wealth in illiquid assets. A home cannot be sold in a day if you need cash. Having most of your net worth tied up in a property you live in means you have wealth on paper but no financial flexibility in real life. Key rule: buy a home that meets your needs, not your ego. Maximize the gap between your mortgage and your income. That gap is invested. Full thing 3, anything purchased on high interest debt. This is the one that Buffett calls most destructive for ordinary people. And it is something that is marketed so brilliantly, so seductively, that most people never see it for what it actually is. High interest consumer debt, credit cards, buy now, pay later schemes, personal loans for non-essential purchases. Here is the mechanism of destruction. Credit card companies in Pakistan and around the world charge interest rates of 28% to 42% annually on carried balances. Some consumer loan products charge even more when all fees are included. No investment in the history of the world has consistently returned 35% per year. Warren Buffett's legendary long-term return at Berkshire Hathaway averages approximately 20% annually, and he is considered the greatest investor who ever lived. Most index funds return 10 to 15%. Nothing beats a 35% interest rate charge reliably. This means if you are carrying credit card debt, you cannot invest your way out of it. Every rupee you put into investments while carrying high-interest debt is a net loss. You are earning 12% on one side and losing 35% on the other. The mathematically correct approach is to pay off all high-interest debt before investing. with only the exception of your basic emergency fund. But the deeper issue Buffett addresses is the psychology of consumer credit. The entire credit system is designed to make you feel like you can afford things you cannot actually afford. Monthly installments hide the true cost. Zero interest for 6-month schemes train you to buy more than you planned. The feeling of swiping a card does not trigger the same psychological pain as handing over physical cash. Buffett's personal rule is uncompromising. If you cannot pay for something with cash today, you cannot afford it today. Delay the purchase until you can. The only exceptions he acknowledges are a home mortgage, carefully structured. In some cases, business loans that generate returns. Everything else, phones, clothes, vacations, electronics, furniture, appliances bought on credit, is trading your future financial freedom for present-day convenience. And the price of that trade is brutal. Immediate action: list every debt you carry, rank by interest rate, tack the highest rate first with every extra rupee you have, get out and stay out. Think for constant technology upgrades every year without fail. A new phone is announced, a new laptop, a new tablet, a new gaming device, new earbuds, new smartwatch. And the marketing machine behind these products is extraordinarily skilled at making you feel like what you currently own is now inadequate, outdated, slow, embarrassing, and that the new version will meaningfully improve your life. Warren Buffett resisted using a smartphone for a very long time. His reasoning was not that technology is bad. It was that he was not going to change something that was working perfectly well just because something newer existed. This philosophy, using things until they genuinely fail to serve their purpose, rather than until something better is available, is one of the least glamorous but most financially powerful habits a person can have. Think about your own technology spending over the last 5 years. Add it up honestly. New phones every 2 years, laptop upgrades, accessories, apps and subscriptions. For most middle-class households, this number is in the lakhs of rupees, and almost none of it was truly necessary for function. The question to ask before every technology purchase is, will this meaningfully improve my productivity, health, or quality of life in a way my current device cannot? Not, is this newer? Not, does this look better? Does this deliver something genuinely valuable that I do not currently have? Most of the time, the honest answer is no. Rule: replace technology when it stops working for you, not when something better comes out. Calculate your 5-year tech spend and invest that amount instead. Think speculative bets and get-rich-quick schemes. This category has destroyed more middle-class wealth in the last decade than perhaps any other, and it has taken new and increasingly sophisticated forms that make it harder to recognize. Cryptocurrency schemes promising 500% returns, penny stocks promoted by social media influencers, MLM businesses that require recruiting friends and family, high-risk options, trading learned from YouTube videos, NFTs, unregistered investment schemes with guaranteed returns. Buffett has been consistent and explicit on this topic for his entire career. His most famous investment rule, Rule 1, never lose money. Rule 2, never forget Rule 1. What he means is that protecting your capital is more important than maximizing returns. Here is the mathematics of why. If you lose 50% of your investment, you do not need a 50% return to recover. You need a 100% return just to get back to where you started. Losses are mathematically more damaging than equivalent gains are beneficial. Buffett also speaks about the psychology that makes speculation so dangerous. Human beings are wired to respond to the possibility of a large reward. When someone tells you about a coin that went up 1,000% or a stock that tripled in a month, your brain lights up with excitement. The stories of wins spread. The stories of losses are quiet. For every person you heard about who made a fortune on some speculative bet, there are dozens, sometimes hundreds, who lost significant money in the same investment. They just do not post about it. Buffett's investment philosophy is the exact opposite of speculation. Buy businesses with strong fundamentals, clear competitive advantages, and good management teams. Hold them for years, ideally decades. Let the underlying value of the business grow and let that growth reflect in your returns. For people who do not want to research individual companies, and most people should not, the equivalent is a diversified index fund. Buy it, hold it. Do not panic when the market drops. Do not sell when the market rises out of excitement. Just hold. Boring, absolutely effective, completely. Warning sign: if an investment promises returns that seem extraordinary, requires urgency, cannot be clearly explained, or involves recruiting others, it is not an opportunity. It is a trap. Lothing 6, lifestyle subscriptions you do not actively use. The last item on this list is the most underrated, but for many households, it adds up to tens of thousands of rupees per year disappearing silently. Subscriptions. The streaming services you forgot you have. The gym membership used twice a month. The software subscription auto-renewed a year ago. The premium plan for an app you barely use. The newspaper subscription you skim occasionally. Individually, each seems small. Ours $2.99 here, $99 there. But collectively, many middle-class households are paying for 15 to 25 active subscriptions, and genuinely using only 6 or 7 of them consistently. Buffett's broader lesson here is about intentionality in spending. Every recurring expense should be evaluated regularly and kept only if it is actively providing genuine value. Passive subscriptions, things you pay for out of inertia rather than active use, are pure financial waste. This also extends to gym memberships that become expensive monthly donations, insurance riders you do not need, premium bank account fees for services you never access, and any other fixed monthly cost that was set up once and never reviewed. The exercise here is simple. Go through your bank statement for the last 3 months. Highlight every recurring charge. For each one, ask, am I actively using this? Would I consciously choose to resubscribe today knowing what I know? If the answer is no, cancel it today, not next month. What you do with those freed up rupees matters. They should not simply be available for other spending. They should immediately be redirected to savings or investments. Small amounts redirected consistently become significant over years. Al Mugli audit. Review all recurring charges every 3 months. Cancel anything not actively used. Redirect the saved amount to investments immediately. 6 things. 6 spending patterns that quietly prevent real wealth from being built. New cars bought for status. Homes that are bigger than you need. High-interest consumer debt. Constant technology upgrades. Speculative get-rich-quick bets. And the invisible drain of unused subscriptions. Notice what all 6 of these have in common. They feel justified in the moment. They feel earned. They feel normal. Most of the people around you are doing the same things. And that is exactly why most of the people around you are not building serious wealth. Wealth is not built through one dramatic decision. It is built through dozens of small intentional choices made consistently over years. Every purchase decision is either moving you toward financial freedom or away from it. Buffett's greatest financial skill is not stock picking, it is discipline. The discipline to delay gratification, the discipline to think in decades, not months. The discipline to do the unsexy, boring, correct thing consistently. That discipline is available to everyone, starting today. If this video was useful, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a financial reality check. See you in the next one.